you'll be almost like you're trying to push the bar. And this is with your shoulders, not your chest. So one of the good tips I can give you that's not covered in this video is lowering the weight.
If you want to grow a big chest, then you need to do heavy pressing movements. Exercises like the bench press, dumbbell press, and push-ups stays in this proper position as you press. Now, most people will keep their back completely flat whenever they do any sort of pressing against the bench. This not only puts your shoulders rather than your chest in a more favorable position to do work, since they'll be more inclined to round forward, but it also tends to be an uncomfortable and riskier position for your shoulder joint. Instead, before you press, bring your shoulders down and away from your ears, and then retract your shoulder blades by pinching them together as if you had a.
So what he's talking about here is if you bring your arms up and you pull them back, you'll feel your shoulder blades just tighten up, and then you bring them down. You're kind of trying to dig your back into the bench. That's why you see some guys, with really big bench presses, they're kind of like squirming around before they bench press, before they lift the bar off. They're trying to literally push their shoulders down through the bench. Think of it that way. You're trying to drive your shoulders down through the bench. Your rear delts, trying to dig them in, really get firm, get tight. That's the phrase, you're getting tight. If you bring your arms on like this, you'll feel your back tighten up. You're activating your back muscles as well, right? You're tightening up yourself. And if you then push your arms forward now, you'll just feel your chest. You see my chest tightening up? Where if I just relax and I do this, it doesn't tighten up as much, right? But if I do this down and then do this, you can see my chest. I can even feel it tightening up more, right? This is with no weight. So can you just imagine what it will do for you with the weight? Because the common problems here for most guys have is they're not activating their chest muscles. You got to activate the chest muscles. If you don't activate it, it won't go right. You want to feel that pump flush with blood when you finish a set. That same kind of pump you get in your biceps, right? You're supposed to get that in your chest as well. So if you're not getting that, that's a very good sign you're doing this stuff incorrectly.
Pencil between them. As a result of this, your chest will pop up and an arch will be created in your upper back, creating a bit of space between your lower back and the bench.
That's another good point. As you dig in, your back automatically arch and you'll just slightly rise up depending on your flexibility. Some people have an excessive arch.
Set this up and maintain it as you press. As you can now see, your shoulders will stay pinned back and chest out, enabling your chest to now do the work. Now you'll want to mainly focus on maintaining this retracted position as you lower the weight down. As you press, however, it's perfectly fine if your shoulder blades open up a little bit, since that helps fully contract your chest, as long as your chest still remains up and out and you aren't excessively protracting your shoulder blades and letting your shoulders roll forward or shrug.
Let's pause and look at this video. You pay close attention to the picture on the right. You'll see his shoulders are back down against the bench, and the other ones, it's more like they're up. It's a subtle difference, right? They're up, not good. Down, much better. Again, your back is tight. You're compact.
Up like we talked about earlier. All right, so applying the previous point will set you up to successfully start using your chest when pressing. But the second mistake can steal tension away from the chest even if you keep your shoulder blades retracted and chest out, and it has to do with your elbows. So in order to maximally activate your chest when pressing, you want your elbow angle to line up with the majority of your chest fibers. This tends to be at an angle of around 45 to 60 degrees. However, many of you watching will likely have relatively stronger shoulders and a weaker chest. As a result, your body will be inclined to flare your elbows out to the sides as you press.
And you really see this is when you're lifting a weight that's heavy for you, when you're straining those last couple of reps, especially if you're going to failure, whatever side you're dominant in, like your right-handed, most likely it's your right side for me, you'll be almost like you're trying to push the bar. And this is with your shoulders, not your chest. So one of the good tips I can give you that's not covered in this video is lowering the weight. Put your ego aside. If you normally do 225 for reps, do 185. You normally do 185, do 135, 155. Even go down to 95 or lower than that, right? Just put your ego to the side. You may think in your head, man, people are going to think I'm wimpy and weak. Nobody's looking at you in the gym. Nobody. And if you're a guy, girls don't care how much you bench. They don't. All they care about is your chest look good. They don't care whether you bench 100 pounds or 500 pounds. Believe me, they don't care. They just care about what you look like. They care about the output of all that work you put in. So put your ego at the door, lower the weight. You will feel the chest more and you're less likely to recruit your front delt muscles. It's not a shoulder exercise. It's a chest exercise.
In an attempt to use your stronger shoulders to lift the weight rather than your weaker pecs. It's very subtle, and it's not something many of you will be able to notice, let alone feel. To minimize the odds of this happening though, here's what you can do. First, you want to avoid using a crazy wide grip, since that will
Crazy wide grip is also very dangerous, right? We mentioned in another show, it's very easy to hurt the shoulders. It's hard to overtrain them, but ironically, it's very easy to hurt them. And once you hurt them, you might have a chronic problem for sure as hell you can't train. There goes all those gains. All those gains are out through the window. That's why I always warm up with the bar. You notice he's doing a lot of these examples with the bar with no weight on them. You should always warm up with the bar, right? Loosen your shoulders up. Do not go excessively wide. If you go wide like this and try to push your arms, what do you feel? You feel pressure on here. Just automatically pressure. You don't want pressure there. Bring it in, so around shoulder weight a little wider than that. You notice the rings on the bar where his hands are. Regardless of how tall guys are or short, their hands tend to end up around there. I guess the width is pretty much an optimal width for most people.
Tend to cause your elbows to flare out regardless. Instead, try using a grip that's about 1.5 times shoulder width. And then, as you bring the bar down, tuck your elbows to rough.
So again, you notice you want to bring the elbows down in. If you do this now when you're sitting or standing, you'll feel your back automatically tight, which is what you want. And then the shoulder blades, basically.
A 45 to 60 degree angle. As a result of this, the bar should actually move down and back as you lower it, landing around the level of.
It's a common misconception. People think when they bench press, the bar goes up and down. It does not. It goes, it's an arc. So when you're pushing up, you think you're pushing up, the bar is actually going slightly backwards. I know the graph there, the graphic you're seeing is accurate. There are even apps you can get on your phone that you just put your phone on a stand and it records you and then it shows you whether you're doing it properly. Yes, there are apps you can get like this. Isn't technology amazing? Isn't technology amazing?
Then, as you press, try to consciously avoid letting your elbows flare out. Keep them tucked in and drive your biceps in towards your chest. The bar should then end up back over your chin at the top position. And the same applies for dumbbell presses and even push-ups. Maximally activate the chest by keeping those elbows tucked on the way down and avoid letting them flare on the way up. But trust me, your elbows will want to naturally flare out. So if you can't keep that from happening as you press up, then that's a sign that you need to lower the weight. Unfortunately,
what did he just say? When you can't do it properly, that's a sign to what? Lower the weight. Lower the weight. Almost every coach I've ever had has always lowered the weight on me. Number one mistake guys make, they lift too heavy. Ego lifting. You see these guys benching crazy amounts. They have no chest or a small chest. That's ridiculous. How can you be benching these heavy ass weights and have no chest? The reason this is, you got to lower the weight. You have to feel. You're supposed to feel. When you finish bench pressing, if you don't feel anything here, you're not working your chest. It's a shoulder exercise effectively, right? And a triceps exercise. No bueno.
your chest just isn't ready to take on that heavy load.
Because you are determined to transform your body, you made it to the end of this video. To get more tips about how to look great and feel even better, check out one of these videos you see on the screen. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. So later's my massive. Me a go long now. For those who don't speak Jamaican patois, that's goodbye, my people.